Hi children. So in the previous session we discussed about structure of chloroplast. Okay, so the chloroplast contain different substances, so which are called chlorophylls and also other pigments like xanthophylls and carotenes and etc etc. And these are mainly absorb the sunlight or capture the sunlight. Okay, so these substances that found in the chloroplast, so which capture the sunlight, and that sunlight so is involved in the various reactions, and finally they produce the assimilatory power. Okay, so which is also called assimilatory power. Okay, so there are several photosynthetic pigments are involved in the process to convert the light energy into the chemical energy. So already I told you the photosynthetic pigments not only in the green color, they are also in red color, blue color, and also yellow color, and etc etc. Okay, these all photosynthetic pigments that capture the sunlight, and that light energy converted into the chemical energy in the form of ATP and NADPH plus. Okay, so just you see here, so the structure of chloroplast, sorry, chlorophyll structure here. Okay, every chlorophyll molecule, either it may be the chlorophyll A or chlorophyll B. Okay, so it has in a four porphyrin rings. So just to show the figure that shows the red color. Okay, so it is an N. Okay, nitrogen, nitrogen, nitrogen. There are four porphyrin rings. Okay, these four porphyrin rings that are connected with the central molecule, which is Mg. What is Mg? Mg is nothing but it is a magnesium ion. Okay, so these magnesium ion mainly present in the chlorophyll. So there is a small difference in between the chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Okay, so here the R is nothing but it is kind of alkyl group. Okay, here the CH3 is present, so which is in a chlorophyll A. So instead of R, CH3 is present, so it is in a chlorophyll A. So instead of R, the CHO aldehyde is present, that nothing but it is in a chlorophyll B. So there is a small difference in between the chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Okay, so instead of R, what is present? CH3, that is methane. Okay, methane group is present. So in the chlorophyll, so it is in a chlorophyll A, and aldehyde group is present, that nothing but it is in a chlorophyll B. Okay, these four porphyrin that contain a tail. Okay, tail of carbon chain. Okay, so which is in a chlorophyll molecule. Okay, so the chlorophyll A, that is mainly blue green in color, and the chlorophyll B, that is yellow green in color. Okay, so these chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B and also other photosynthetic pigments, that are other colored photosynthetic pigments. So these all are aggregated in the thylakoid membrane to form a light harvesting complex. What it is called? Light harvesting complex. So each light harvesting complex on the thylakoid membrane, so that has a 250 to the 400 molecules of different photosynthetic pigments. Okay, 250 to the 400 molecules of different photosynthetic pigments. So now going to the next slide. Okay, photosynthesis. Okay, so actually the photosynthesis that mainly involves in the three steps. So the first one is a conversion of light energy to the chemical energy. Okay, so the light energy is stopped by the chlorophyll molecules and it is converted to the chemical energy in the form of ATP and NADPH. ATP and NADPH, and this chemical energy is also called as assimilatory power. What it is called? Assimilatory power. So it is in a first step. Coming to the second, so splitting of water molecule. Splitting of water molecule. So in the presence of sunlight, the water molecule is undergo splitting and to release the H plus ion and OH minus ion. So H plus ions are called protons, OH minus ions are called hydroxyl ions. Okay, so the water molecule split into the H plus ions plus OH minus ion in the presence of light. Okay, so this is called as splitting of water molecule and also called photolysis of water. Photolysis of water. Okay, so these two reaction that takes place in the presence of light only. Presence of light only. And coming to the third, reduction of carbon dioxide into the carbohydrate. Okay, commonly in the chemistry there are two type of reactions are there. One is in a reduction and second one is in a oxidation. Okay, so the reduction means okay addition of oxygen molecules, or addition of hydrogens. Okay, addition of hydrogens to the substrate is called as reduction. So here the carbon dioxide CO2 is present. So when the CO2 is converted as a carbohydrate, carbohydrate is in a CH2O. Okay, what it is added is here the protons is added to the carbon dioxide. So that's why the reaction is here reduction of carbon dioxide to the carbohydrates. So these three steps are very important in the photosynthesis process. Okay, so that's why the photosynthesis is mainly divided in the two phases. Okay, so the first two reactions, the first two steps are considered as a light dependent event. What it is called? Light dependent event. I already told you the light energy conversion into the chemical energy and the splitting of water molecule. So these two phenomenons or takes place in the presence of light. So that's why the event is called light dependent event, or also called light reaction. Okay, so light reaction. So this light reaction always want to take place in grana. Okay, so the grana which mainly made up with the thylakoids on the thylakoid membrane. So there are many number of the photosystems are there, and these photosystems are helpful for the conversion of light energy into the chemical energy and splitting of water molecule into the protons and hydroxyl ions. So these are reactions are mainly takes place in grana. Okay, grana of the chloroplast. Okay, while remaining, what is the step is there? Reduction of carbon dioxide into the carbohydrate. So which is also called light independent reaction. Light independent. So which means, so which is not depend upon the light. So the light is present, so it will be happen in the plant. In the light is absent also, so it will be happen in the plant. So that's why the reaction is previously also called dark reaction. So which is not mean it is not present in the dark. Okay, so which is also present in the light and as well as in the dark. So there is no depend on light. Okay, that's why it is called as light independent or dark reaction. So this light independent phase, which is also called as biosynthetic phase. Okay, so which always occur in the stroma of the chloroplast. I already told you stroma is a fluid that contains DNA, RNA and starch, and especially the photosynthetic enzymes. Okay, these photosynthetic enzymes are helpful for the conversion of carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. That's why the dark reaction they occurred in stroma of the chloroplast. Stroma of the chloroplast. So photosynthesis is mainly divided into the two phases. Okay, mechanism of the photosynthesis is mainly divided into the two phases. So the first one is a light dependent reaction, which is also called as photochemical phase. Here the photo means light, chemical means the light energy converted into the chemical energy. Okay, that's why it is also called photochemical phase. Okay, the photochemical phase is always occurring grana of the chloroplast. Grana of the chloroplast. So the second phase, so which is a light independent reaction. Okay, so which is also called as biosynthetic phase. Biosynthetic phase. So this biosynthetic phase, so where it is takes place? So it takes place in the stroma of the chloroplast. Okay, the mechanism of the photosynthesis is mainly divided into the two phases. One is light dependent phase, photochemical phase, and second one is light independent phase and biosynthetic phase. Okay, so here the light photochemical phase takes place in the grana of the chloroplast and light independent phase that takes place in the stroma of the chloroplast. Okay, so now coming to the detailed description of light phase or light dependent phase. Okay, in this light dependent phase there are the three steps are there. Okay, how many steps are there? In the light phase there are three steps. So in the step 1, so whatever the chlorophyll which present in the, where it is present? It present in the thylakoid membrane. Already I told you many chlorophyll molecules, many photosynthetic membranes are aggregated to form a photosystem. Okay, these all are exposed to the sunlight and they become activated. They become activated by absorbing photons. Okay, the photons are smallest unit of light energy. Photons are smallest unit of the light energy. So these photons are absorbed by the chlorophyll. What will be happen? The chlorophylls are excited. The chlorophylls are excited. Okay, so it is in a first step. Remind it, the chlorophylls on exposure to the light, it become activated by the absorbing photons. Photons are the smallest unit of light energy. Okay, it is in the first step. And coming to the second step, okay, the energy used in the splitting of water molecule. Okay, so whatever the energy, so which come from that sunlight, so that is also used to splitting of water molecule. So when the water molecule is split, what is formed? One is H plus ion. Okay, protons are formed, and second one is an OH minus ions and hydroxyl ions are formed. So this is called as photolysis of water and also called as Hill reaction. Already we discussed in the previous class. Okay, so the Hill reaction, the whatever the oxygen molecules which are come from that water, not from the carbon dioxide. So that proved by the Hill. So that's why the reaction is also called as Hill reaction. So in the step 2, so the energy is used in splitting of water molecule into the hydrogen and hydroxyl ions. So every water molecule that present in the chloroplast, so is divided to form a hydrogens and hydroxyl ions. So in the step 3, the hydroxyl ions are involved in the through of a series of steps, so to produce the water and also oxygen. Okay, so whatever the hydroxyl ions, so which are mainly involved in the series of steps reaction, and they finally produce the water and oxygen. So these hydroxyl ions are involved in the production of water and oxygen. What are the remaining? Only the hydrogen ions, and these hydrogen ions are also undergo a series of changes that produce the assimilatory power. So which is ATP plus NADPH. Okay, so the ATP, which is abbreviated as adenosine triphosphate, and NADPH, so which is nicotinamide adenine hydrogen phosphate. So these H plus ions are helpful for the formation of ATP and NADP. Now what is received by the plant here? Light. Okay, so this light energy finally it is produced the chemical energy. Okay, so that's why the end product of the light energy is ATP and NADPH. Okay, NADPH. Okay, so this is called as assimilatory power. What it is called? Assimilatory power. Okay, so in the light reaction finally they produce the assimilatory power. So now we watch the video regarding to the photochemical phase. Photochemical phase. Okay, already the photosynthesis that has in two phases. The first one is in a light phase and second one is in a dark phase. Okay, so in the light phase what will be happen? It produces the ATP. So how it is produced? ATP from ADP, adenosine diphosphate, and inorganic phosphate by using energy. Okay, so when the sunlight is grasped by the different chlorophyll molecules, automatically they releases the electron and they are excited. I already told you they are excited and releases the electrons. So just to see the photosystem. So and it is in a cytochrome B6. So these all are present in that thylakoid membrane. Photosystem 1 and ferredoxin, and it is called as an ATP synthase factor. Nothing but it is a factor which is used for the formation of ATP. So in between the photosystems there are carrier proteins are there. Okay, so these carrier proteins are mainly plastoquinone and plastocyanin. Okay, and ferredoxin. Okay, so these are the carrier proteins. So it is a light energy. What it is called? Photon. And these are chlorophyll molecules. These are protons, H plus ions. Okay, it is in a water molecule and it is in a molecular oxygen and it is an NADP. When it is added to the hydrogen, automatically it is formed a NADPH. ADP, diphosphate. When it is added to the inorganic phosphate to form a triphosphate. Okay, triphosphate. So in the Previous session already we discussed about the chloroplast structure. So mainly divided into the two parts, stroma and grana. So the grana mainly composed with a many number of the thylakoid. So if you the thylakoid membrane, so the thylakoid membrane that mainly consists of the photosystem. Okay, what it is? Photosystem, photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. So in the photosystem 2 or photosystem 1 that mainly contain 202, 400 number of different chlorophyll pigments. Not only the chlorophyll pigment, different photosynthetic pigments, and these pigments or receive the light in the form of photons. Just you see here, okay, the photons are come and which is received by the chlorophyll. So when it is received by the chlorophyll, automatically the chlorophyll is excited. Chlorophyll is excited. So all the chlorophylls are received the energy, and this energy is sent to the center of reaction. Okay, so which is nothing but it is called a chlorophyll A. So what will be happen? The electrons is released here. Okay, electrons are released. Okay, a pair of electrons are released, and these electrons are carried out through the, now just you see here, chlorophyll that releases the electrons and that is received by the plastoquinone. Okay, so this plastoquinone that also receive the protons, and it is moved. It is because of it is in a carrier protein, so which move. So already I told you in the first step is completed. Okay, the photons are received or grasped by the chlorophylls, and the chlorophylls are excited and they are released the electrons. Okay, that energy, so it is also used for the splitting of water molecule. Now you see here, okay, the water molecules are splitted and release the hydroxyl ions. So it is an electron that is filled with that chlorophyll. Okay, so water molecules are divided to release the molecular oxygen. So whatever the plastos electrons which are travel through the thylakoid membrane, and they reach to the next complex, that is cytochrome B6, and from that cytochrome B6, so they release the protons into the thylakoid lumen space, and these electrons are also received by the, what it is, plastocyanin, and this plastocyanin carries the electrons to the photosystem 1. Okay, so this photosystem 1, the chlorophyll molecules are receive the electrons, and these electrons also pass to the peridoxine. What is next? Peridoxine. So which is also received by the peridoxine, and then finally, so these peridoxine reductase. Okay, so here NADP is present. So whatever the electrons, so which bring the energy, so with the help of that energy, these NADP is formed as an NADPH plus. Okay, just you see here. Okay, NADP here it is there, NADP. So it is combined with the one proton, so to form an NADPH. Okay, so just you see how it is formed. NADP is reducted to formed as an NADPH. So coming to the next factor, what it is? ATP synthase factor. Okay, whatever the protons which are enter into the lumen, so that are moved through a channel, and finally the ADP plus PI to form an ADP plus PI to form an ATP. So in thylakoid membrane, what is formed on the surface of the thylakoid membrane? Finally, it is produced the ATP and NADPH plus, and this ATP and NADPH plus, so is called assimilatory power, and this power is used for the conversion of carbon dioxide into the carbohydrate in the reduction phase or DOR phase. So that we will discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you.